Hello friends, welcome to our channel Learning and Development. On this particular channel, we will be posting the learnings related to applied psychology, wherein the applications of various psychological tools and principles will be helpful for your self-improvement. So if you are looking forward for continuous learning and development, you can subscribe to our channel, and also you can press notification bell so that when we load some new learning, you will get that particular notification. So let us start today's session. So today the topic I have chosen is understanding creativity. Creativity is also a very fundamental concept of cognitive psychology. When I say cognitive psychology, it is basically the higher functions of the mind, wherein we come out of the emotional things and then we get into the rational thinking part, wherein we do a lot of thinkings. It is related to the thought process and the higher functions of the brain. I have also I'll be making videos related to the various aspects of the mind in the near future. So let us understand the creativity. Creativity is defined as the tendency to generate or recognize ideas, alternatives, or possibilities. Now, this is a function, you can say, of the higher brain being creative. So that we have been hearing. Now here there is a generate or recognize ideas. So there is something called creativity center in your brain, you can say, and that is responsible for generating a lot of new ideas. And it has a location in a particular part of our brain. So a lot of alternatives and possibilities can be generated, and creativity can be useful in solving problems, communicating with others, and the importance of creativity, and how different kind of ideas have to be generated, and out of box thinking has to be there. So all this comes under the concept of creativity. So in order to be creative, you need to be able to view things in a new way or from a different perspective. Now this is very important. Now, what is happening is we tend to have certain kind of assumptions, and these assumptions are embedded in our attitude, in our belief system, in our behavior, to be honest. And what is happening is these assumptions are not allowing us to think out of the box. It is not allowing us to think in a different manner, different creative manner, different possibilities. And the reason behind could be the way we have been grown up. Generally in our schools and colleges also, we have been instructed to think in a particular manner also. Generally we tend to have only one answer for a particular question we try to. So that is analytical part. The other part of the brain, that is the creative part, we are not focusing on developing it. And that's the reason we do struggle when it comes to problem solving. We are not able to think a very simple alternative which is available. So the way we can do is, what we exactly have to do is, we have to focus on both the parts of the brain. One is the analytical part and one is the creative part. So a lot of emphasis has been given in our education system on the analytical part, wherein we do a lot of math, science, and various subjects we practice. All are focused towards the uh, analytical part of the brain. And the creative parts, where the art, drawing, music, designing, they actually come under the extracurricular activities. So that is what is happening. We are not focusing more on developing that skill also. So this is, let us understand in the coming slides. You will have a better understanding. So this is a simple creative test. You can just take a small test here. How you can just have an idea of creativity, the concept which I'm trying to make you understand. You will understand when you take a simple test. So let us say this is a brick. What you can do is, you can stop the video right now. This is a brick. What you do, you take 5 minutes, set up a clock, and write all the possible uses of this particular brick. You can note down maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, or 10 alternatives you can write. And then after that, you can go to the next slide. So I would request you, please do this exercise so that to have a better understanding. So what you can do is, you write the various uses of this particular brick. Take some 5 to 10 minutes, not more time. And whatever thoughts comes randomly to your mind, keep on writing on a paper. And then we'll move on to the next slide. Hope you have done the small test and you are ready with your applications. What are the various uses of the bricks? If you have done, it is good. If you have not done, you can correlate with this slide also, no issues. So tests of creativity measures not only the number of alternatives that a person can generate, but the uniqueness of those alternatives are very, very important. Say for example, you would have given one usage as into the construction, and the same brick you are using in constructing something else. So this is the whole concept, is that your mind is focusing on the constructive part. Or if you have made use of the brick in breaking something, so these are only two alternatives. Even though you have 5 to 6 options, the uniqueness you have generated is only two. You are using it for the construction activities, and you are also using it for the activity of destroying something. It could be supporting also, so that is another uniqueness. If you are using it to support something, is a uniqueness. So if you are able to generate lot of various unique ideas, alternatives, then you can see that your creative center in the brain is really very active. So this is a brief about the creativity. Hope you have understood the concept of uniqueness and alternative. It is not that in the same field, if you have 5 to 6 answers, that is not going to help you. But if you have generated 3 options, but all the three are in a different unique manner, then yes, that solves the purpose, that you will understand the concept of creativity. Now, in order to understand, let us get into the psychology behind it. Let us get into the science of the creativity. There is something called information processing. I'll be making a detailed information video on this particular things, because this is very, very important tool. So in cognitive psychology, basically we see the individual as a processor of information. Like a computer takes in information and follows a program to produce an output, very similar manner we also function. So basically we take inputs from our various senses. Now see, for example, I'll just give you a small example. How do we process information? Suppose we see a particular, let us say a student gets a marks in his examination. Let us say he got around 70, 72, 75, whatever is the number. So that particular number is triggering a particular image. So there is a student who is getting 90 out of 100, and there's a student who got 70 out of 100. There's a student who got 30 out of 100. By just looking at the marks, or when we ask somebody how much you got, they say 30, 35, 40, or whatever. So that number is actually getting input, and it is getting compared into various images which is stored in our processing mind. So what is happening is, all the information, whether it comes in a form of a picture, by seeing some drawing, by seeing some article, something gets triggered in your mind. By looking at the number itself, some kind of a thought process. By hearing something, it gets a message to you. You know, by, for example, let us say the passing marks in the examination is 35. So you are already programmed for that. If you get 30, so immediately what is happening, if you have 30, it has got a different reaction it triggers. So how you process the information is also very important. So I'll be making a detailed concept on information processing. Here I want to make it clear that what is happening is, there is something called right hemisphere and left hemisphere, which have a different centers for different functioning. So let us understand that. So basically, you can see from this particular picture, the left part is more focused on the analytical ability, the logical brain, and the right part, the right hemisphere, is more into creative and all. And let us understand how basically this brain actually, the functioning is there. Basically, what is happening is, see, and one more thing I would like to highlight here. Generally, the usage of brain and mind will be, correlated, but there is a small significant difference into that. But for our discussion sake, we'll be using brain and mind. So mind is nothing but it's in a software kind of things, but the brain is the hardware part, you can understand, to for the time being. So you can see the right hemisphere, you can see all the extracurricular activities which we know. If we do, the right hemisphere of our brain is getting triggered, and all the analytical works which we do, the left hemisphere, and the functioning is there, that right hemisphere allows new things, new ideas. It is open for new ideas. It wants to explore new things, experiences new things. Whereas on the other side, the left hemisphere, what it does is, it is only based on the facts and figures which it has experienced in the past and approved and stored with it. Every new things comes, it will be compared. So that's the reason we find it tough to interact with the new people. That is the reason we find it tough to take up some new task, because our left hemisphere, left part of the brain, what it is doing is, it is not allowing anything to act, because it is very strong and it is possessing the information. Then in the past it is to be done like that, and it will be done like that. So if the input, any new learning comes from the right hemisphere, and once it is approved, it gets stored into the left hemisphere. This is how a brief concept of working of the information is actually happening in your brain. So most of our learnings, most of our teaching and the childhood which we spend, basically we are focusing on developing on our left hemisphere, where is more into analytical and logical brains and all, for xyz reasons. But the other part of the brain has to be actually equally developed, and that includes all your extracurricular activities which you name. Maybe singing, you're dancing, you're playing some kind of a chess, photography, playing some activities, flying kites, and doing some yoga, meditations, all those things come. And there is something called information processing. If your both brains are active, what happens is, when there is something called some problem comes in your analytical part, when you're analyzing, you will get some idea from the other half of the brain, and it will be processed. Similarly, when you are playing some games or singing, some kind of an analytical brain also you can exchange. That is called transfer of learning. There is a concept in psychology called transfer of learning that we'll be discussing later. So this is the whole concept. What happening is, right hemisphere is allowing new things, your left hemisphere is not allowing new things to register into the brain and to get into your personality. Now, one more thing I would like to discuss here is thinking approach. There is something called divergent thinking and convergent thinking. So basically, as you can see from the figure, what is happening is, we have been trained actually to think in a convergent manner. So we collect a lot of facts, figures, and on, and we try to come to a particular answer. We give that this is the correct answer. We try to reach to a correctness of the answer. But whereas in the divergent thinking approach, some kind of a situation and the problem has happened, a stimulus has happened, you look for the opportunity of creating a lot of new ideas. So there is no one right answer. In the convergent thinking, there is only one right answers. Based on the fact, we go to come to one particular conclusion. But whereas in the divergent thinking, there is no one answer. We need for the possibilities. Now, which is good and which is bad, people will get confused. There's nothing called good or bad. The whole idea is, you need to develop both these kind of thinking approach. You need to develop both your hemispheres equally, and also you need to have a divergent as well as convergent thinking in the same aspect. Suppose you are solving a particular problem or particular issue, maybe in your school, the kind of problems you get in your application maths or science, or maybe it is related to your life, or maybe it is related to your working in your organization. Some kind of a problem has come, so you need to define that particular problem, and then you approach it. So generally, the assumptions which we carry while defining the problem, we are not able to come to the solution. That is the biggest uh, problem with the human mind. So what we have to do is, we need to have a divergent thinking approach at that time, have all the possibilities, and then when you collect, let us say, 5 or 6 possibilities, then on each possibilities apply your convergent thinking. So on each possibilities, now figure out and come to a particular answer. So both these approaches are very very important in problem solving, and they are also related to creativity. So what we have understood briefly here is, the creativity is what generating new ideas. So we do have a lot of activities wherein we can increase our creativity. So if you are doing all such activities wherein your left and right hemisphere both are getting involved, it means that it is good. So what you can do is, apart from extracurricular activities, you can also give little bit more weightage on that, in addition to your studies. You have, suppose you are like to play chess. Chess is one of the very interesting, wherein your both brain are getting activated. Photography is a good activity. Singing, dancing, doing some kind of a meditations, dancing and singing, absolutely, it's a really too good, for creative thinking. You can play some instrument, musical instrument. Generally, the people who play the flute or a piano or anything for the time being, if you are really your the other hemisphere, that is your right hemisphere, is also very creative, and that will help you in actually solving your problems in your work area or in your school academics or in your life. So this is what is the brief about the concept of creativity. Hope you have understood what exactly is the creativity I was trying to explain. So just quickly, I would like to express what we have discussed is, basically the creativity. What you have to do a lot of activities which involves analytical as well as creative thinking. So playing with clays, making some kind of structures, toys. Yeah, I mean, a lot of activities are there. I will be making a detailed information on that, what kind of activities you can do. One is the chess is very good. Actually, you can actually include in your extracurricular activities and start playing that particular game. That is very interesting. It helps you in your academics as well as in your emotional balancing of the life also. And there's various singing, dancing is a very good approach that gives you confidence and all. So that's what I'm trying to make you understand, the making arts and crafts with the paper. So the whole idea is the all the activities in the schools which are extracurricular activities, you can bring into the mainstream also and practice at your own if you're getting sufficient time in addition to your studies. Then a complete brain development will happen, and then only the creativity will emerge. So there's a creative center in the brain. We can actually do a lot of activities by doing. Sometimes you can start writing with your left hand, practice for a change, just see what is the speed, some kind of things. This is also one of the activity you can do. I mean, there's lot n number of activities you can figure out, and you can work it out. So thank you so much, friends. Hope this concept of creativity is a bit clear, because this is very fundamental aspect of psychology, especially to the aspect of positive psychology. This is a very fundamental concept of applied psychology, in that particular positive psychology, wherein you can use this concept for your happy living and for your betterment and for your self improvement. So thank you so much again. For any suggestions and queries, you can reach or you can comment to the videos. Any particular topic if you're looking to interest, or anything, any doubt if you have, you want to ask about the thought process, and I would be happy to give replies to your comments and to your suggestions. If you are really interested in learning and developing continuously, please subscribe to our channel. Also, you can press notification bell so that you will be not missing any of the notifications, because now I am going ahead with a lot of fundamental things. So hope it is clear. Thank you so much. Thank you.